Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a really exciting video. I'm going to be discussing my five-star reads. These are what I would consider to be my all-time favorite books. I'm a very harsh critic when it comes to giving a book a 5-star, and I can have books that I've rated 5 stars, but they're not my favorite. So these 5 books I'm showing to you are both 5-star ratings, as well as what I consider to be my favorite books. My criteria for a 5-star read, I would say, is 1, it has to stick with me. I have to remember the story years down the line, and all 5 of these books, I still get snippets of them from time to time, will just pop up in my memory. 2, the story has to evoke some sort of emotion in me, whether that's happy, sad, whether I'm crying my eyes out, whatever it may be. If it can evoke emotion, it is closer to being a 5-star. 3rd, it has to just be a good read. You know, I'm not going to rate a book 5 stars that I struggled to get through, or that I was bored, or that I just found terribly written, things like that. So it just has to be a good read overall. And then I would say the last, final, most important piece of criteria is that the book has to alter my perspective in one way or another. It has to either shape my view of the world or how I look at my own morals and values. Something like that. In a big way, it really has to shape who I am or how I think of the world. So those are the 5 criteria. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into my 5 favorite books. Okay. These are somewhat in order. The first 3 books, I don't really have them on a scale as far as like least to most favorite, but I would say the top 2 are my top 2 books. Like the book that I'll show you in the number 1 spot is my most beloved book, and then the second one I would put in 2nd place, but the other 3 are just kind of randomly placed. So with that being said, we're going to start with the first book, which is The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I don't know why I don't hear more people discuss this book. I feel like I'm the only one who has placed this in their top favorite books, as far as I've seen. Maybe I'm just not watching the right videos, but I love this book. This is the first book I ever read that discussed the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, and I honestly thought this book was going to be really boring. And this was not required reading for me. This was something I picked up on my own. I loved it. This book, especially the final scene, if you know, you know, but it comes back to my memory very often. And this is one of the books that really just changed my perspective and views on certain subjects. The way this book was written, you're really meant to go along for the ride. So this book is about an American family, the Jodes, who were greatly affected by the Dust Bowl, and they had to move from their home in the Midwest to California, where there was a promise of jobs and just safety and prosperity. And when they got there, they realized that that was not the case. So this follows the hardships the family had to go through, and it's striking the tenacity of all of the people that were affected by the Great Depression, but just specifically following the Jodes and hearing about their struggles and their story. Yeah, I think this book was so beautifully written. It allows you to, for me, it really resonated deeply. And even though I haven't ever faced these hardships, I have no idea what it would have been like in that time. I felt the struggle. I felt the pain. I felt the heartbreak. I felt like I was there with the Jode family. So, and again, the ending, I don't know if I've ever read an ending like this one. For me, this is a beloved book. It's in my top 5. I hope it always remains in my top 5. I haven't read anything quite like it since. I will have to do a reread. It's been years, but I love this book. I know some people find it boring and dry. For me, that was not the case. I Cannot recommend this enough. Next, we have one that I feel like is just universally loved, and I actually read this recently last year. So, The Hobbit by Tolkien, and this is a special edition copy that I treated myself to. It's beautiful. It has maps on the inside and the original illustrations from Tolkien, and yeah, it's lovely. So I don't even know what can be said about this book. If you've never read The Hobbit, you must. This book just brings me so much joy. It's witty, it's nostalgic, it's cozy, it's just a comfort read. This book is just magical. It's so easy to just open it and get lost in the world and the journey. It's, written for children as well, so it's a really digestible read. There's nothing too crazy you have to wrap your mind around. Yeah, when I think about The Hobbit, I just think of comfort. This is comforting to me, and it's definitely well-deserved of a 5-star. So that is The Hobbit. The next one is kind of similar as The Hobbit with the fairy tale-ness of it, and this is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I had seen the movie a few years back, and I just remember it stayed with me. I loved the movie. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I just thought of it and it would make me smile every time. So I knew that I had to pick up the book. I love this even more than the film. And I think it's because the film was adapted to cater towards children and family, whereas the book is an adult fairy tale. And again, I've never read anything quite like this. It's everything you want in a fairy tale. There's pirates, there's magic, there's witches. Everything you would expect in a fairy tale, you will find in here. It's also an extremely short book. It's not even 300 pages. It's so short, and it always surprises me how much is condensed into this tiny little book. But it feels like you go on a journey for months. So this is just so special to me. I love the story. I think of it so fondly, and it always comes to my mind, and like I said, just makes me smile. So if you've never read this book and you don't know about Tristan or the Wall or Yvain, you need to get immersed in this world and read this book. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. All right, we are down to the final two. These are what I would say are my all-time favorite books. I have mentioned both in my previous videos, so if you have caught it, they are both in there as subtle mentions, so you may already know. But the first one is Unbroken by Laura Hillenbrand. This is a nonfiction. It's a memoir about Louis Zamperini and his struggle as a prisoner of war. It really just follows his life from early childhood to his early adult life. I don't even know what there is to say about this anymore. It's one of those books you have to read for yourself. And not only is the story great, because I've read a lot of memoirs that the story is fantastic, but the writing maybe isn't the best. I was so astonished at how Laura wrote this book, because this was not her life. This was not her story, and it completely felt like it was. It felt like Louis was telling the story himself. And I think that takes a very good writer. So it was the way that she told the story, but the story in and of itself is miraculous. And it's one that I think of often, and one that has really shaped me, to be completely honest. So this is what I would say is number 2 as far as my favorite books go. Highly, highly, highly deserved 5-star. Number 1, this is my all-time favorite book, you guys. It has stuck with me throughout the years. It shaped and altered my perspective on the world. It astonishes me the accuracy of human nature. And let me just show you the book. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. And I wrote down my thoughts because a lot of the time I have trouble articulating myself. So let me just consult my notes. So if I sound scripted, that's why. But it's just because I needed to give this book the time and thought that it deserves, and I don't want to leave anything out. So just give me 1 second. So this book, it follows a bunch of different characters, but the main focus is on our protagonist, Anna Karenina. And what I think stuns me even now, Tolstoy has an understanding of the complexity of societal constructs, but from the point of a female, it's scary. It's almost like he's in the mind of a female, and he really highlights the struggles that women face due to their limitations. Being that this book was written in the 19th century, it's incredible to me how relatable it still is. It transcends time. I think Tolstoy really explores human nature and complex human emotions that are the same. People are the same back then as they are now. And it just, to have someone articulate it in such a deep, transparent, but also digestible way is just astonishing to me. Astonishing. It's a lot of philosophical debate. There's talk about, religion and religious views. For me, I don't know if everyone would agree. I know Tolstoy as a person can be a little controversial, but for me, I thought the representation as far as the female perspective was extremely well done, coming from the mind and the hand of a male. It just, to this day, it blows my mind. So I really don't know what to say about this, you guys. This is an ingenious piece of literature, and in my mind it's one of the greatest works of literature that I have read thus far. I'm not, I have a lot more to read, so this could eventually be knocked out of its #1 position, but as of right now, this remains to be my favorite book of all time. So that was it, you guys. Those are my 5 most loved books, 5-star reads. Let me know what you think of these if you had read them, or what some of your 5-star reads are, or if based on these 5-star books, you guys have any recommendations for me. I love your recommendations, so please give them to me if you have them. But you will probably always hear me talk about these 5 books fondly. Like I said, I'm an extremely harsh critic, so the fact that these have made it in my top 5 says a lot. But that was all for today's video, you guys. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!